Begin by cutting out all of your templates for your body parts. Take the felt you're going to use for the body of your sloth and fold it in half. This will give you the two pieces that you need for the body, and it will also save you some time so you don't have to cut out two different pieces. You can use double-sided tape to tape the template onto your felt. This makes it easier when you are cutting. It prevents it from sliding around and you don't have to hold it in place while you are cutting. Now that the template is in place, you can go on ahead and start cutting. While you are cutting, try to make your felt pieces just a little bit bigger or a lot bigger than the template. Just try and get that shape down and hold the felt with your free hand to try and help to keep it in place. We are now ready to get our needle and our thread ready to sew. Take your sloth body pieces and just put them to the side. Take your needle and thread and lay it out. Take your thread and get it through the eye or the top of the needle where you see that hole. It could take several attempts to get it through, so just be patient and keep at it. Once you do get your thread through the needle, go on ahead and pull on it so you have a good length that is hanging off one side. As for the other side where you still have it all attached to the roll, go on ahead and keep rolling some out. You want a good length so it covers all of your project while you are sewing. Once you have your thread rolled out to the length you want, go on ahead and cut it from the roll. Bring the two ends together. You need it so that way they meet at the top and both sides are running parallel. You want to have it so there is an even amount on both sides. So just go on ahead and pull on your needle if you have to until you get it so everything is even. Now we are going to close off that top by making a knot. This needs to be done so that way while you're sewing, your thread does not pull all the way through your project and it won't hold it together. So go on ahead and take the two ends and you can go on ahead and make several knots in it, or I find this solution to be better. Take the two ends and just keep rubbing them into a ball until you get a big enough size where once you pull the thread through your felt, it's not going to just go straight through it. take your threaded needle and pull it through a spot at the end, at one of the edges of your project. If it pulls all the way through and does not stay in, that means that you do not have the end big enough. So just keep rolling it into a ball until it does not pull through. I do recommend that you start at either the top where you see I'm starting there. You want to leave that bigger space. You want to leave some space in there. We're not going to sew it closed completely because that's where we're going to stuff the stuffing through. So do not start there. I would either start at the bottom or at closer to the top. As you can see, making the knots for me did not work, so I went on ahead and made that ball so that way my project would hold together. We are now going to go on ahead and start sewing our project. We are going to be doing the straight stitch. It is one of the most common stitches used to attach two pieces of fabric or felt together. So all you're going to do is try to make lines all around your project that are of the same length. I am attaching a video and a tutorial from WikiHow that explains the straight stitch, and it has a great little video that you can see a little bit more clear on how to do this. If you're not quite sure on how to do this, or you're a little trepid to do it, start off by watching that video and then come back to watch the rest of this. Just remember that while you are sewing your project that we do need to leave some room in there so we can stuff your sloth. So I left the belly, that's where I'm going to start stuffing. So just go around the head and go in that direction, or if you start at the bottom, go around the legs and the bottom and keep going in that direction. As you are sewing, be sure that you are pulling your thread tight for each stitch. This prevents it from being too loose. If it is too loose, there is a good chance that your stuffing will fall out and that your project will not hold together. Also, be sure to try to keep those stitches the same length. When you are sewing, you want to make sure you're not doing it as close to the edge as I was. As you can see through those ridges, my project is becoming too tight, and you will see the outcome of this in a little bit. So just bring it closer, a little bit closer to the inside, all your stitching as you're going through your project. We're going to bind off on our threading now. So take your needle and you're kind of going to make a loop in your last stitch. So what you have to do is kind of pull it up just a little bit and then pull it through so you make a knot. And you might want to do this several times so you make sure that binding is really good on there. Once you have done that, go on ahead and cut off the string so it's not super long. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn it inside out. So go on ahead and start pushing the felt through. So we're just going to flip it inside out. it's time to go on ahead and start stuffing your sloth. Make sure you're putting the stuffing in so it is getting toward all of the ends and completely filling the inside. You don't want to do too much though. You need to leave some room so that way we can sew the rest of it closed. Once you have finished stuffing your sloth, tuck your sides in, the unstitched end. Go on ahead and tuck those sides, fold them down, and then you can go on ahead and sew them closed. As you can see, I did my stitching too close to the edge. So the orange one is my second attempt and it's too stiff. It does not look like a sloth. The blue sloth, while I did it further in, I did not pull it inside out. So you can really see all of those stitches, and that was my first attempt.